guess Imperium's gonna turn to the Third Reich now. But
He posted a picture on Twitter with Sean Dean. He's got his castle. It says "Justice" on it. And then somebody says Hook is some fucking girl says on Twitter, Hook is what? Stokely, I hate your ball ass so much.
It's Wednesday, guys. You know what that means. It is time for your weekly dose of the Pro Wrestling Injection right here on the Pro Wrestling Injection YouTube and Twitch. We're out here with a full cast again. Here, joined by my illustrious panel co-host. I am the Outlaw, Zach Joel, joined by Mr. Marathon Mike and the Goon Christian. Finally, a full house again. Mike, about time you had a day off.
Yeah, it's nice.
Oh wow, my
Having
computer froze for a moment. Oh.
Hey, off to a great start.
Yeah, hold on, me.
I show up and everything goes back to shit, apparently.
Yeah, this is all your fault, by the way.
I'll take responsibility.
As soon as I open up OBS was fucking up. It's 100% your fault, Mike. Mm-hmm.
What a night.
All right. Yeah, so we full house today. We got news to cover. First and foremost, though, I want to congratulate a friend of mine, Desmond Cole, for being number 301 on the PWI Top 500 Wrestlers of 2024. Friend of mine. So, congrats to him. All right.
That's dope.
So, let's just dive on into everything else. I'm going to kick over to Christian because he is Newsman Jones. So, have at it, Christian.
Yeah. So, Justin, there's quick news this week. Not too much to really talk about. But we had the Hurt Business, which consists of Bobby Lashley, Shelton Benjamin, and MVP, who have since left WWE. They have been in talks with AEW per Fightful. That doesn't really mean much. Doesn't mean that they're signed, but seems like there's interest there. So we could be seeing the Hurt Business come into AEW in the near future. That's really all we could say about it right now because that's really all there is to it. It was a new report came out today. I think it could work. I mean, we wouldn't know yet, but yeah, I think it'd be cool. I think if they merged, like I remember when they had when Swerve dropped Parker Boudreaux and Trench that he was looking for and more help, and then they merged the Mogul affiliates at the time to the Embassy, and then it became the Mogul Embassy, and that's when Swerve started. Literally, that was the start of Swerve and Prince Nana as a pairing, and then Brian Cage, Gates of Agony, joined afterwards. So I think that if Shane Taylor Promotions merged with the Hurt Business, I think that could work. I think Bobby Lash, because MVP wouldn't be wrestling. He would most definitely be the manager, but I think a pairing of Bobby Lashley, Shelton Benjamin, Shane Taylor, Lee Moriarty, and Go could work with MVP as their manager. So I think that would be kind of cool. There's also he works a lot of dark matches for AEW, and he's been on Ring of Honor every now and then. But he is under contract. He used to be in the WWE Performance Center, and he used to be in MLW. His name's EJ Nduka. He was on AEW once, when it was the Swerve and I forgot what it was. I think I was Swerve and somebody. It wasn't Hangman. Weigh-in. They had a weigh-in. Oh, Osprey, that's what it was. It was Swerve and Osprey's weigh-in for their Forbidden Door match, and EJ Nduka was part of Swerve's posse there, but he hasn't been established on television at all, besides just doing dark matches before the show. So I think he could be a member of that group, because the guy is, if you just search up what the guy looks like, the guy is a physical freak. The guy is gigantic. He's got a great look. Super jacked up, gigantic dude. I think he would be a really good fit. Black. That seems like a prerequisite for this type of group.
Mhm.
Um, but uh, but yeah, that's really all there is there. But the other was that we had a report because basically it's been hinted at that the media rights deal for AEW is basically a done deal at this point and it's just pending on announcement. We talked about that last week.
Mhm.
But WWE, they just ran their final SmackDown on Fox last Friday. They're moving back to USA Network. SmackDown is moving back to the USA Network. NXT is going to the CW, and Raw is going back to 2 hours up until they get to Netflix at the start of the new year.
Which those
So
hours could vary in how the show goes. That's what another report said.
yeah, so when Raw goes to Netflix and NXT goes to the CW, the USA Network still wants WWE on their programming. So they got SmackDown back. Um, but that leaves Fox with no wrestling, which I don't think they even really need wrestling. But there's speculation in the TV world within AEW and that AEW and Fox have had talks, although it hasn't been confirmed. AEW is still expected to reach a deal with Warner Brothers Discovery, but it would happen. It would appear exclusively, might not be happening. So they might get a deal with obviously a rights increase and a deal with Warner Brothers Discovery, but it might just be uh non-exclusive. So it's like they could also have like a show on another network. And Tony hinted at it in the media scrum, and they filed for a trademark for this thing called AEW Shockwave. So if they're gonna get a show on Fox, um, it's probably gonna be that Shockwave show. I don't know what that would consist of. The AEW rights deal, um, would be it just depends on what's going on. I've heard stuff that, and I think this would make sense. They could if they get another show like that, they would have Dynamite, Collision, Rampage, and then Shockwave, but they can convert Rampage into like Ring of Honor Rampage,
Mhm.
or just like an hour Ring of Honor. Um, but that's the thing, we don't know. It could be AEW because guess what? Tony shopped Ring of Honor around. Nobody wanted it. So the the corporation didn't buy They didn't want Ring of Honor. They wanted AEW, so that's why it's Rampage. I mean, yeah, that's why it's Rampage. They didn't ask for Ring of Honor. He tried,
Mhm.
but that's not how it goes. But we'll just have to see when it happens. Probably gonna You're gonna get an announcement. They're saying it's like imminent, and it could be any time. It could be tomorrow. It could be next week. We don't know. I thought they would probably wait for the upfronts because a lot of businesses do that when they get a major rights deal or acquisition. They have all their investors there, it's all the suits and shit. Um, but yeah, we'll see. That's really about it when it comes to that. We've been talking about the media rights deal for so fucking long now. I just want it to be over with. Because you know it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
It's a matter of when they announce it.
You
But
guys think they would announce it during the anniversary Dynamite?
no, I don't think it's gonna be a big announcement
Yeah,
in
it's like
terms of AEW. Like that's a corporate thing, so it'll go.
Mm.
So it's not gonna be announced on a show like willy-nilly like that. They're gonna announce that shit. Warner Brothers is gonna have a whole press release. There's probably gonna be a press conference.
well,
Um,
there's what don't forget, there's always like the media calls before every pay per view too. We'll probably hear word of
yeah,
stuff from there.
yeah, yeah. Like I don't think. Well, the media calls. I mean, they've been asking Tony about that shit ever since the start of the year on the media call. But I will say this though but when this gets announced, it won't. I'm not saying it won't be from AEW. It's gonna be AEW and Warner Bros. Discovery. You're gonna see Warner Bros. Discovery announce it before AEW does. Like
Hmm.
AEW will put out their thing. Warner Bros. Will put out their thing. It's not stuff like this. It's not really cinematic or like any hype towards it. You'll wake up one day, oh, it's done. They posted it, and it's over.
I think the
So
only thing that
it's
they'll
very
announce
blunt.
is Shockwave. They would
Yeah,
only announce Shockwave on TV.
I don't think so either. I think that'd be included in it because it's the same way they announced Collision.
Well, true.
Collision was announced in a press release online. Rampage was announced. I remember sitting in the fucking Sonic drive-through, seeing that Rampage is announced and the big show's in AEW. That's how blunt it was. So
What a place to get wrestling news.
yeah. So all of that shit usually happens just very bluntly whenever they want to put it out. So don't expect Tony to announce next week. We're gonna have a big announcement, this, and that. You know the drill. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's most likely gonna be very blunt, and you'll wake up to it, or you'll get a notification on your phone that it will finally went through.
Anything else?
No, that's really it.
Well, I guess I should mention this for people who heard my comments about the scapegoat jacket from All Out. It is on sale on Jack Perry's website, and it's only available for 3 more days. Did I purchase one? Yes, I did. Is that gonna be my everyday jacket when it gets cooler down here? Abso-fucking-lutely. Was it worth the $175 I spent? Still, my wallet is still crying after that. But
I
all
can't remember the
right,
last time I spent 175 on anything outside of, the game where Rogers went down, but I digress.
Listen, that's worth it. That shit was history.
Great game.
second worst thing that happened to New Yorkers on 9/11 that night.
Yeah.
Second worst thing ever. Fucking watch that live, and of course, the first field goal kick that the Buffalo Bills made had to hit like the right post too.
Yeah.
Just another fucking
I remember that.
dig into life.
I remember that.
Yeah.
But
they still haven't recovered. They still haven't recovered from that. I mean, they couldn't do it on Monday. So pitiful.
all right, so
We don't. Yeah, we're not going to discuss that.
Mm-hmm.
let's just dive on in now to AEW Dynamite today, coming from Louisville, Kentucky.
Very enjoyable show.
We opened the show, Lexington, whatever. Now,
Flexington.
fuck everywhere else that's not New York and where I currently live. So we kick off the show with a vignette of what John Moxley and the rest of now former BCC members did at All Out, where pretty much they almost committed murder. I love the shot of Mox, Marina, Pac, and Claudia walking past Wheeler Yuta and Bryan Danielson as Bryan's being carried to the trainer's room. That's cinema right there. So good.
This was an excellent segment here.
Storytelling, damn it.
And this was an excellent video package here. It was an excellent promo from Mox. I really love the backstage shot of them, and especially I was gonna mention that the shot of them carrying Bryan, because there's a usually at every AEW show there's a section where the talent can watch the show backstage, and that's what they were walking through. But then they got in a car and they sped off. But Moxley, his promo here was excellent. He didn't give a reason why he did this. Really, we still don't know why. The whys we don't know how clear it is. But he's basically saying that what we're gonna do, Bryan. You're not fit for this. You can't stomach this. Our mentor, which when he was saying our mentor, he was meaning Regal. He said you were the perfect wrestler, but he saw a lot of himself in me. And guys like us, we are who we are, and there's
Diplomacy
no
is dead.
Yeah,
as well.
And he's saying because he feels that he's the one true king, and there's a lot of chains coming to AEW, and that was a great line. That seems to be something that will be expanded upon. I don't think that's. I don't know if group is still going to be called the Blackpool Combat Club or something new. But like Claudio, he posted a picture of him attacking Brian, and he said, "For the one true king." So it might be something that where they're loyal to Moxley, maybe not even just loyal to Moxley, but loyal to his vision and his plan of what he wants to do. Um, but but I mean, this was just an excellent segment here, and I really enjoyed it. After that, they had a little vignette of Darby Allin skating into the arena, and as he skated into the arena, they stopped, and his face was on the truck next to when he was walking through. So I thought that was a cool shot. And then when we got back to the ring, we had Tony Schiavone introduce the patriarchy with Christian Cage, and they were gonna he was gonna talk about what happened at All Out and if he was gonna cash in or not. And Christian basically explained that when he had his hand around when Killswitch had his hand around his throat at Wembley, he finally saw something in him that woke up.
The light
And
bulb went off.
the light bulb went off, and he's a killer. He's one of the most biggest. He's one of the best and most complete big men in the business.
But now,
Um,
is he going to be allowed to carry a title?
well, they got to get a title
Well,
first.
no. Is he going to be allowed to carry his own title? Is he going to be allowed to, or is it going to go to Mother Wayne, or is Christian going to hold on to it and claim that he is the real TNT champion?
We'll see. But
Well, he
yeah.
is the face of TNT now and forever.
Yep.
But he explained that he's coming after Bryan Danielson, and he's going to beat him so bad that you wish that Bree had CTE.
That was fucked up. That was
That
so
was
fucked.
That
it was, but that was great.
It was a great line where fucking Chris started off as he said, "Well, my son Nick told me that the word on the street is that I got mad aura," and I'm like, "Oh Jesus!" Someone's
That
been on
line popped
TikTok.
me, not gonna lie.
Someone's been on TikTok. I guess Nick missed the Costco guys when they were over there.
I'm happy he didn't say demure. I would have killed
Well,
myself.
they post the Costco guys. They posted a video backstage at All Out, and fucking Big AJ was in his gear. He did a TikTok with the Iron Savages and Colt Cabana, and they were doing fucking double chunk chocolate cookie review.
Well, he also made it to number 233.
That was fake. I
That
thought
was fake. No, I think that's
I'm
real.
pretty sure that was fake because that guy has been inactive for
I
years.
I think it's real.
I don't see. I really don't think it's because that's the thing. Like Brody King isn't even on the PWI 500. Kenny Omega's not on it because they're inactive. This guy fucking retired how many years ago?
He's done some like appearances on the indies, doing like helping out Sally Slices and stuff like that.
But he's retired.
Well,
If
I
Kenny,
don't.
listen, there's a big problem with the PWI 500. If fucking guys like Kenny Omega and Brody King are on off that list, and fucking Big AJ is on it. Um, but I mean, I think that'd be funny, but I'm pretty sure the guy's inactive. Uh, but it's the funniest thing about it is all the clips coming out of All Out and the Pac Osprey match, and you could see because they stayed there for most of the entire show. Um, Big Justice and AJ, and the videos of them popping and losing their fucking mind watching Osprey and Pac was funny. And there was a great tweet that was like, it was when the Moxley and Bryan Danielson angle happened. Fucking Big AJ, he looks like he's ready to hop the fucking rail, bro. He was locked in on that angle. He was locked in on that angle. He wasn't fucking. Listen, listen. If he jumped the railing, I wouldn't have blamed him. Um, but yeah. Uh, but anyway, after this, we had in the back Don Callis and with Renee, and he also had with him Konosuke Takeshita, Will Ospreay, and Kyle Fletcher, who looked like Matt Murdock. Um, but but Don, he asked for a favor because he gave Will the favor of letting him out of his contract with the Don Callis family a couple months ago, and Don asked for his favor in return of Osprey tagging with Kyle in the casino
All
gauntlet
right, so
the tag team casino gauntlet.
it is fake, and the person they replaced him with was Pentagon Jr.
Well, they needed to do it with somebody with a picture. And it was I'm like saying, there's no way that's real. That guy's fucking inactive. That guy's been inactive for years. His last match was with the fucking Blue Meanie in a VFW hall in fucking like 2013 or some shit. So, like, I doubt it. But that PW, I mean, I know when the PWI 500 came out, I was like, oh shit, here we go again, because it's the same shit every year. Everyone's fucking getting pissed off over no reason, over a fucking magazine's list that is basically marred in kayfabe, where it's like
Hey,
it's
but
based off of like wins and title wins, and it's like it doesn't mean shit, bro. It doesn't mean shit. If it really doesn't mean the Cody was
but
number one,
but
Swerve was number two, Osprey was number
I
three. It's like Osprey's been snubbed for number one for the last 3 years, and people acting like it's still legitimate.
though I will say though, still big shout outs to my boy Desmond Cole for making it to 301
No, it's
on
cool
the
for a
list.
wrestler to make the list. It's cool, but as a fan, to get emotional and get pissed off about it, it's kind of stupid.
Mm.
Um, it just really it's really dumb because it's the same shit every year. It's like, what do you want? Your favorite wrestler didn't get picked by a boardroom of people who write a fucking wrestling magazine.
Blue
Did
Cane
what?
made it to 500.
Good.
I don't know who that is.
It's Blue Cane. How do you not know who Blue Cane is?
Well, I mean, it's good for him because fucking what's it called? They all, I mean, the people who get 500, they have like they get a specialty cover, because I remember when fucking Lulu Pencil got 500, she got a specialty cover. But um but anyway, uh Osprey was kind of reluctant of being Kyle's partner until Kyle talked him into it, but Osprey said, well, I'm not no Davis, but let's do it." Um so yeah, so it basically got confirmed that Osprey and Kyle were gonna tag in the Casino Gauntlet tag team match, which I liked because I mean it makes sense because Osprey has never lost a Casino Gauntlet that he has been in. So, uh, I mean, it made sense for him to be in it, and let alone we'll talk about what happened in that match later. But after this, we finally had our first match of the night. It was Leo Rush versus Jack Perry for the TNT title. Jack pulled up in the scapegoat bus, um, and came to the ring. He was very pissed off after losing his title match at All Out. But these two had a great match. I really enjoyed this one. Good opener. Leo, I'm glad he's been a regular in AEW. I've missed seeing him regularly because the last time I saw him this regularly was last year's Best of the Super Juniors, which he had an unbelievable showing in that tournament.
Oh yeah.
Um, but uh, but yeah, great stuff here from these two. Jack obviously won. Leo was not winning the TNT title, but great
Yeah,
stuff
no,
here from these two.
not yet. Not probably for another
And
2 years down
but
the line. We'll see, he retires first.
well,
Uh,
well,
yeah, again.
maybe if he actually signs with the company, which he is not, as well.
I mean,
But
fair, very fair.
um, but I do want to pay mention to this because I thought this was somewhat of not a hint, but somewhat important. What was going on in this match? But we had Jack doing the Snapdragon suplexes, which he did it all out. uh Basically stealing them from Kenny Omega, and it's like it's very Kenny Omega like, and commentary even mentioned it. So, and I always suspected that when Kenny comes back, that his first feud is going to be with obviously the Elite and by proxy Jack Perry, um, and then he'll get through all of them and then end up at Okada again. Um,
Ooh.
so which was the plan for Wembley if Kenny never got hurt, never got hit, he never got sick either. Um, but uh, but he was using the Snapdragons and he was also using the Basaiku knee. and he did the yes chants, and then he switched him into the double birds. But he's taking shit from a lot of people, and it's pissing people off, kayfabe wise. But that's something to know there. That's just something he's like taking stuff from all his people that he's kind of screwed over. He did. I mean, he hasn't done it in a while, but he's done some of Punk stuff. He's done. I mean, when he was in New Japan before he came back, he was doing the Young Buck spots. Um,
Mm.
so he knows what he's doing. But anyway, after this, we had Private Party and Commander come out for an entrance, and they weren't advertised for this show. So I'm like, well, something's happening here. And they were in the ring with three jobbers, and this was like a Rampage match because it was like Collision. Not Collision. It was like Commander and Private Party. I'm like, against three jobbers. I'm like, yeah, something's not right here. So before the match could even start
How
going,
dare you call John Cruz a jobber? That is
John Cruz,
disrespectful
John Cruz
to Jonathan
Cruz
Cruz.
John Cruz is a piece of shit, and you know it. And you know it, damn it. He's always has been. Serpentico is a good man. But John Cruz, I don't like that guy.
Don't
Fucking piece of
disrespect
shit.
John Cruz, man, all right?
No,
He's done nothing to
I
you.
don't like John Cruz. He's a fucking asshole.
You haven't
He
paid
has no
double.
respect. He has no respect for the business. But
He took a
Serpentico,
header into the
yeah.
guardrail today. I think he has respect for the business.
Good. He should take.
Oh
Good. He should
my
take two
God.
more. But anyway,
You wouldn't
So-
fight John Cruz.
I would, and I win. Serpentico, I get my ass whooped. But here comes Marina, John Moxley, Pac, and Claudio. They beat they fucking kill everybody who's standing in the ring. And then once they get in the ring, Moxley, I mean, he takes everybody out. Claudio takes everybody out. Marina starts choking out Commander like for a very long time. But then Pac gets on the mic and basically states the reason why he's with them, because Pac, besides Death Triangle, he's like been a loner. Like he doesn't really like people.
Mhm.
But Pac, he gave his reasoning saying that I've been lost for a long time in this company. There's something wrong in this company. This company is in ruins. I've been lost for a long time. That's not happening anymore. And he looks over and he says, "Now I have something to believe in, a purpose." So it's like I know Mox is basing this off a movie, but it's kind of cultish sounding, but not really. It's like it's not like they're following Moxley. It's like they're following a motive and his idea and his beliefs. It doesn't feel like, oh, we're this guy's lackeys. It's like this guy,
Mm.
John Moxley, has a belief of what this company should be. He has a motive of how he wants to do it, and we believe in that vision. And we're gonna follow him and help him achieve that vision. So that's what it sounded like to me.
What do we do with the trio styles? So do they just like? Is Wheeler gonna like opt to vacate out of?
Yeah, that's gonna have to be. Yeah, that's gonna have to be. I don't know what they're gonna do with
Yeah,
that,
they're gonna have to address that.
because two of them have him, one of them doesn't. I mean, I don't think he's just gonna go fucking hand it to goddamn Moxley. And then they're the new trios champs, but I highly doubt that. My thing is that they'll probably be vacated. And then they'll do something, maybe a tournament.
Probably vacate them at Grand Slam.
Yeah, maybe they could do a story where they try to like influence Yuta, trying to join them. But I think if they wanted him, they probably would have tried that already. But
I think with what played out at the pay-per-view, that's a no.
that's what I'm saying. Like the fact that like the fact that what's it called? They didn't address it, the trios titles, like they didn't address it at all, leads me to believe that they're just gonna vacate him. They're just gonna do something
Mm.
else with him. And they just needed to get him off of him for the time being. Um, or it's that, or that they have a plan in place where they're gonna do something because, like, I like the trio styles, but when it comes to the stories, they're not important. They could easily give them to somebody else, and it doesn't really take anything away. And they don't even have to lose. Because I don't know what the original plan for this story was, because the original plan was that the Death Triangle, which was
Mm.
Pac and the Lucha Bros, was going to win the trios titles at Wembley. So I I don't think that, because now, I mean, the Lucha Brothers are basically gone.
Yeah, as far
Um,
as we're aware, they're out
they're
the door.
basically gone. I mean, I'm pretty sure they're gone, because I think they obviously would have been involved in this if they weren't.
Mm.
Because Pac would have left them, and then Claudio and Mox would have left Yuta, and then Brian would have been taken out, so that would leave Yuta and the Lucha Bros, and then you'd have an even 3-on-3 with Yuta and the Lucha Bros, and then Pac, Claudio, and Mox, and then you could just do trios like that. Um, but I don't know what because then Pac would have had, if that triangle would have been the trios champs, then Pac would have had to give his up. It would have been confusing either way. So they
Mhm.
obviously have a plan for it, or they're just gonna strip him. So that's
True,
really all there
yeah.
is to it. But anyway, that was that. They left through the crowd, but that was not the last time we would see Mox and Marina tonight. After this, we had the Learning Tree pull up in a Bentley, with Orange's backpack. Jericho is teasing that it's not the backpack that I care about wanting to take away. It's the shit that's in it. So
And
he
also,
teased that.
Jericho was wearing the disgusting fucking jacket from 2020. That thing has seen better years.
Yeah, it's the one that
Yeah.
Orange dumped the orange juice on back during the build to the Mimosa Mayhem match back in 2020 in Daly's place. It's kind of crazy seeing footage from back then, because I remember like those days and how normal Daly's place felt, and like how normalized like that was AEW for like a very long time. Like they were in Daly's place longer than they were
Hell, that's how
outside of
you came into the show. It was around that time.
yeah. Well, I was still in high school when AEW began. Um
Well, yeah, I. That's obvious on that one.
yeah,
You young fuck.
yeah. So uh
I was in
what's it
college.
what's it called?
I had already graduated. Jesus Christ.
But
Old
but
unk
yeah,
status.
we had
Yeah, I'm the uncle of the podcast.
No, it's just unk. You're old.
it was
Okay.
actually Cat. Actually, I don't know if that's Kevin. I don't know if you have siblings that have kids, but
I do not.
I am legitimately an uncle, like a for real uncle. Um,
All right.
what's it called? I'm actually Unc, so
I'm the elder statesman of the podcast.
hey, the old ass nigga of the podcast. Anyway, what's it called?
What? Yep.
Fucking.
Jesus
We
Christ.
had Ricochet. We had better watch for the Ricochet. I still cannot decipher what the fuck Mikey Ruckus is saying in the beginning of his theme song. I've tried. I've I've talked to the greatest legal minds I've ever known, and they can't decipher it. Um, but all I know is that better watch for the Ricochet. So uh, Ricochet versus Sammy Guevara here. Very good
Sumi
stuff.
Guevara.
Versus
This was awesome.
yeah, Ricochet's second match in AEW. Well, third actually, technically. The second singles match that was. But these two had a pretty good match. There was a "This is Flippy" chant, which is pretty funny. Ricochet was kind of a homecoming because he used to be billed from Kentucky, and now he moved to Las Vegas. Um, but uh, but yeah, good stuff here from him and Sammy. There was a cool spot where Sammy did a backflip off the tunnel. Ricochet ended up getting the better of him. They got into a great striking exchange at the end, but Ricochet won with his new Vertigo finisher. And after the match, none other than the Beast Mortos showed up and speared the fucking shit out of this guy, and Sammy ran him off with a chair. And before we go past this, I want to say something about the Beast Mortos. Beast Mortos, this guy has been one of my favorite additions to AEW in a long time, and I've been watching as when he was Black Taurus in AAA when he came into Impact. I'm like, this guy's fucking awesome. This guy's just fucking awesome. And then they got brought into AEW. I couldn't have been happier. And this guy is just and nothing has changed. This guy's just fucking awesome. You fucking see this guy in the ring. He's saying, I don't trust any human being that looks at the television. They see the Beast Mortos in the ring, and they say, "Yo, this guy's stupid." Are you fucking kidding me? This guy is fucking awesome. I look at him every fucking time he's on television. Every time he does a match, I'm like, "Fuck yeah, dude." The Beast Mortos. I don't care who he's with. He was with Shane Taylor Promotions. He was with Roddy. He was with the evil version of the conglomeration. I'm like, yo, this guy is just the best. I love him. And he has the coolest mask in wrestling because his mouth moves and it's cool. And he's got chains and he's a bull. He literally looks like not a human. But whatever. But that's building up a match because they're building to Ospreay and Ricochet obviously, and he needs to get substantial wins under his belt, which is what's happening here. So I'm very excited for a Beast Mortos Ricochet match. But yeah, that's what they're teasing here. And next up, after this, we had
Statlander versus Willow All Out recap vignette, and then we had Renee in the back with none other than the Rainmaker, Kazuchika Okada.
That's right.
Didn't we have earlier before that? Like she talked to Hangman.
No.
Yes.
Oh, I thought that was
that was after Marvez caught up with Jack Perry before speeding off, and after the Hangman versus Swerve All Out recap vignette. You guys forgot to mention that.
Okay, so I just hit them both here, but just what we were saying first. This is quicker, I guess. So Okada was talking about how fucking All Out was the hardest night of his life. But he said it was so easy.
So easy.
It was so easy. So here comes Takeshita and Don Callis, and Don was like, "Listen, you didn't pin Takeshita. You pinned Orange Cassidy. You didn't pin Takeshita." And Okada said he's going to be a champion one day, but not the Continental Champion. So they're really teasing this Takeshita Okada match, which I'm very happy about. He walks off and he goes,
comes back,
bitch.
So good. So good.
So they're really teasing this Okada Takeshita match, which I'm a big fan of. I said literally many times, I don't care when they get their media rights deal, go to fucking Zaslav and say, listen, brother, I know ball, and I'm gonna need 45 minutes uninterrupted, commercial free. Okada Takeshita, whatever. Just let him go. Just let him go. Let him fucking go. You'll see a fucking 10 Michelin star course. But anyway,
I just want to address two comments by Byron Cutler in the YouTube chat. He says he gives tonight's show a 10 and he loved it from start to finish. I did love it from start to finish as well.
And my boy Hog,
very good show.
Then my boy Hog Dipper Quinn and the Twitch side of things. And it's when we're talking about
and he puts 13 hearts. What a guy.
Big AJ gave us the boom and respect the indie legend. But yes, okay. So
the Hangman.
Yeah, Hangman, he is just nuts. Fucking going crazy right now, and I love the dude.
This guy crazy. He crazy, man.
It was just like Renee's like, just what the fuck? How do you feel about what you did? And also, I looked back at the syringe spot. He did not put it through his cheek. He just stuck that wherever he could.
Mm-hmm.
That was so unfortunate.
Somebody said, hearing
I hate
reports that the
needles.
next two entrants in the casino tag team gauntlet match were supposed to be the Motor City Machine Guns in the Hurt Business, but sadly the match ended and they didn't make it out. Yeah,
Oh,
hey,
darn.
could have been, maybe. But anyway, but yeah, Hangman, this fucking psycho. Um, he said, "Listen, if Swerve had 1,000 houses, he'd burn them all to the ground." After what he did to me and my family. I don't care. If they didn't bring that cage up, I'd stay in there forever and beat the shit out of him. This guy is completely fucking off the deep end. He's a sicko. He leaves the interview. He goes and pushes some poor fuck down in the back. He's staring at top flight. He ends up coming face to face with Silver Reynolds and Uno basically just brushes him aside. Says, "I don't even know who you are anymore." It's just like he's unrecognizable from what he once was. And then here comes Jeff Jarrett, and Jeff Jarrett basically tells him, "If you put your hands on my wife again, you're gonna know that I'm one of the most ruthless people out here, and you better watch because I've seen guys like you have gone down a dark path, and it never ends well because the person in the mirror is the one they fear the most." And Hangman then fucking just cold cocks this guy in the fucking face. He throws him into some chairs and then he gets fucking hauled out by security. But this guy is completely out of control.
I think
He's a
there's your
psychopath. He's gonna fucking kill somebody.
there's one of your matches for Grand Slam. Another one to add to the list so far.
What?
Probably gonna be a rematch of Jeff Jarrett versus.
Yeah, I'm gonna say maybe
Hangman.
because I don't know because that happened not too long ago. So, but I could see that happening again.
That was the Owen Hart Cup match, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
That's like. There's also another match that I fucking called, but I was shot down saying, nah, it was Wembley or nothing. And it's happening outside of fucking Wembley.
Yeah, I wish they did. I wish if they were doing that, I wish they just. I
Pulled
always
out?
think they did it last year, but fucking keep forgetting Brian was fucked up last year.
But see, like, what
Um,
I brought it up. I brought it up on this show saying either you can do it at this pay-per-view or that pay-per-view, but that this match has to happen. Then you guys said, well, mainly Christian, you said, nah, it was Wembley or nothing.
I thought it was because I thought he got his moment and then that was it. But here's the thing: I even said it there. If he wants to come out of retirement, because that's the thing about Nigel, he never retired due to a medical reason.
He's gonna have a
He
part-time
retired.
contract,
He
I
re-
feel.
he retired due to a failed physical that he took in WWE back in I think it was 2011, and he failed the physical and he just retired after that, and it was kind of sad because he was one of the best at the time, but obviously he came out of retirement at Wembley. He did the casino gauntlet match.
He
looked-
helped
he-
Oasis get out of retirement, out of
That
their.
was fake.
That was fake. Ah,
Yes.
I think that's real.
what's it-
Fuck it.
I didn't even know who Oasis was until then. But what's it called? That was he. Him coming out of
Today
retirement.
is
He
gonna
looked,
be the day that they throw it all back to you.
I don't know what them. I don't know.
Ah,
what that was.
Wonderwall.
Oh,
I
I've heard that.
recognize the song.
Mike knows
But
it.
but he. I'll tell you, like he looked good. I mean, for a guy that hasn't wrestled in fucking how many? God knows how many years? 14 fucking years. He looked pretty good. But getting thrown right into a match with Bryan Danielson, that could be jarring. But if anybody's gonna have a great match, it's gonna be these because these two have a very storied history. I'm very happy it's happening. The reason I shot it down is because I'm pretty sure that's all he wanted. Because he said he went on record. He's saying, "Listen, all I want to do is have a match at Wembley." I'm like, okay, he'll just do that and then finally have his conclusion, like how fucking the characters in Deadpool and Wolverine did. That's what it felt like to me. He's like, oh, he finally got his ending. But I'm glad he's back. I don't think he's gonna be back full time. I don't even know if it's gonna be part time. But to get the Bryan match out of the way, literally, if he just does this match with Bryan and he never wrestles again a day in his life, I think that would be perfect
I'm
for
also
him if that happens. But I hope he sticks around.
I'm also just upset that, of course, the one match I would love to have seen live, a match that would have happened when I was living in New York, that I get to miss again. They miss all these good fucking matches happen in New York.
But
Because you guys get to hear the
Sure.
fucking final countdown.
yeah,
Hopefully.
and
No,
that
that's
goes to
happening there.
and that goes to. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's happening for every single one of his title defenses.
Every major
Um,
title defense,
yeah,
really.
no, I know. I'd say every title defense. Um, even I don't even know if this is a title defense. Actually, I don't think it is.
It is
I
for a
think it's just a
title.
grudge match. No, it's. I don't believe it is because on the graphic it has nothing that says for the world title. I have it up here, and even Tony's tweet says it's not for the world title.
Okay.
Uh, so maybe not, but I think it will because it's such a big match and people have been wanting this one with Nigel. But but yeah, I think every title defense will have that song because the the stip is when this guy loses the title, his main career is over. So every match is the final countdown. He's in jeopardy every single match. If you play Punch Out for the Wii and you beat uh if you beat title defense mode, literally you play an endless gauntlet of random bosses until you lose 3 fights and then that's it. It's called Max Last Stand. This is literally Brian's last stand. He's on his last life. That's it. If he loses, that's it. Um, so I really see him going through the best of the best up until whenever he wants to drop it. But very very happy with that. But we'll talk more about it. But back to Hangman, I guess. Just Hangman, he's completely fucking out of control. Completely out of control. Um, I don't know what he's gonna do uh next or who he's gonna wrestle next that Swerve's gone. I mean, they could have do something with somebody with an affiliation with Swerve, but I think Jeff Jarrett is the best bet right now because he's over and they could get more out of it. He did put his hands on his wife at Wembley, so I think Jeff Jarrett is your best bet for a mini feud before Hangman and Swerve maybe go at it again or something bigger pops up with Hangman.
Oh yeah.
But after this, we had we had a what do we have? What is
After
it?
this,
Darby
we
Allin.
had, yep, Darby Allin.
Yeah, so Darby Allin hits the ring. He's looking around. He's looking for Mox. He's like, "Where's Mox at?" Um, and here comes Moxley, and that's the one thing about Moxley's presentation as this. I think we talked about it on here before, but he's not using Wild Thing anymore, which is smart because Wild Thing is a very crowd pleasing song, and you don't want that for this type of angle and this type of gimmick. So he's using his New Japan theme and his New Japan Titantrons and all that stuff. So I think it's smart. Um, there's no reason to use Wild Thing. It's like if Brian was as big of a heel as Hangman is right now, and him coming out to the final countdown, that wouldn't really make much sense, would it? So I'm glad they're doing that with that little presentation there with him. But here comes Mox and Marina. Mox is before he hops the barricade, he just shows Darby. He pulls up his shirt and stuff, and he shows him that he has nothing on him. He's not gonna attack him or anything like that. But Marina gets in Darby's face, but here comes Mox. He backs her off. Um, Mox starts to speak, but Darby he cuts him off and basically tells him the story that he's never told him before that he wanted to be like him, coming up in the business. They're like how they're cut from the same cloth. He wasn't gonna change for anybody. He looked up to him. He wanted to be like him because Moxley never changed for anybody. He still wrestles to this day in high schools, um, in front of how many people, just because he loves this industry, and he loves the business so much. And and he really likes that about him. But he then says that um, he's this guy that took out Brian, and that's not the guy I don't want. He saw after he did that. He doesn't want to be anything like him anymore because he doesn't know who he is anymore. But Moxley then gets on the mic and tells Darby that listen, uh, he agrees with him mostly of how they're cut from the same cloth and what the history between the two are. But he basically asked him
to hand over and surrender his title shot that Darby earned in the Royal Rampage um, to Moxley so he could wrestle Danielson at at it was Arthur Ashe at the time, but
Probably Wrestle Dream, right?
yeah, it was Arthur Ashe at the time, but yeah, Darby's obviously says no, he doesn't want to give that up, but Darby says he wants to wrestle him anyway, and I'll fight you for my shot. I'll put my title shot on the line at Arthur Ashe. So we're going to be getting Moxley versus Darby Allin at Arthur Ashe, and whoever wins that probably advances to Wrestle Dream to wrestle Bryan Danielson for the world title. And this is interesting because we all thought going in it was going to be Bryan and Darby at Arthur Ashe because that's what we've been kind of thinking about and talking about because that's how it was advertised. It wasn't. We just knew Darby was getting a title shot.
Yeah.
But Mox wants it, so it's changed to Mox and Darby. So Darby obviously is another Washington wrestler, just like Swerve and Danielson. So I think, and that's one thing too. Mox and Bryan has been done numerous amounts of times, numerous in this company in WWE. Darby and Bryan has never been done before, never. It has never happened. So I think for that crowd, and I think it's probably going to end up being Darby and Bryan at Wrestle Dream in the main event. However, Mox shouldn't be losing clean at all or losing in any type of way with this new character, especially as his first match in this new character. But obviously, Bryan's going to be at Arthur Ashe and he could get involved. And something has to happen, but they just cannot beat Moxley clean with this new character
I
right off
think
the jump.
you don't get Bryan involved. I think get Yuta involved.
Yeah, I think
Have Yuta be
that's
like,
better.
because Bryan is already going to have a match. I'm assuming his match is either going to be before the main event or is the main event.
That's definitely the main event.
Then
If Swerve is not on that show, then which I think he'll end up on that show in some way. I think they could even do Jeff Jarrett and Hangman there, and then Swerve comes out and saves Jeff Jarrett because Swerve has to be on that show. It's in his little hometown to the county. So it's like he's gonna be on that show regardless, no matter if he's taking a break or not. That could I mean that show is what, October 10th, not 10th, 12th. That's in fucking what, 4 or 5 weeks. That's enough time.
a month, pretty much.
Yeah, so he gets a month off and he comes back in his home county. Yeah. But yeah. What's it called? But there was reports that they were seriously considering taking the title off Bryan and putting it on Darby. So there's also that, but I don't know if those were
Thinking now, because I would love for them to, like, I just thought of how Swerve could appear at Wrestle Dream. It's like I don't want them to immediately go into another Swerve Hangman thing, but I say just have, like, I was gonna say have them get involved in Jeff Jarrett and Hangman. Say if the match doesn't happen at Grand Slam, and excuse me, you do like a stipulations type thing for Hangman and Jeff Jarrett, maybe like a dog collar match, stuff like that.
maybe.
Because I would think escalating the fact that Hangman put hands on Jeff Jarrett's wife, something like that, you have to now escalate into possibly a dog collar match, something like that.
I don't know if I do dog collar just to preserve it and like save that for a bigger pay-per-view. I do something else because that's the thing about Hangman as well. Because the last dog collar match is what? Punk and MJF? I believe
Maybe.
so. But it's like that's the one thing about Hangman too. All his pay-per-view matches shouldn't be like hardcore matches because he's had a lot in recent memory. Like he had the one with Swerve the Texas Death Match. He had the Steel Cage match. He had the one he had with Moxley, the Texas Death Match with Moxley. So he's had 3 in recent memory. So it's like I don't know if you want to do another one with him again. So maybe. Um, but I'm not like I wouldn't be opposed to it. I think something else would be in order for that, but I mean, it really doesn't make any difference. But I will say this about this, just going back to Mox and Darby and the Bryan situation. I think obviously that Mox isn't going to lose clean. I think Yuta gets involved. I think Yuta is probably the correct person to get involved. And then obviously, I think Darby's going to be involved in this with Bryan. I think they'll team and stuff like that. But when Bryan and Darby wrestle after the fact, they're obviously going to go to Bryan and Mox again, which is, I mean, it makes all this. They have to do that. But I think to get there, I think Yuta is going to be sacrificed.
Oh yeah.
I think that's literally probably the case here, where the reason Bryan has to make decisions or he loses, not loses, but like has to do stuff is because Yuta is gonna be sacrificed because of his actions. So we'll see how it goes down, how it plays out. But this was the last we saw of Mox and Marina and that crew tonight. So, but everything there was very intriguing to me. I think I really am enjoying this new Mox character.
Yeah. After that, did we have the Chris Jericho
We
match?
had Alex Marvez in the back with Christopher Daniels going.
Oh.
Darby just gave away his title shot. Like, what's going on? And then who steps into the picture?
Nigel McGuinness.
Nigel McGuinness. And he's just like, I need to have a word with Tony Khan right now, and you're coming with me. Let's go.
Yeah,
and I was just like, ooh.
As soon as I heard that, I'm like, yeah.
He's in the match.
They had to take away a Bryan Darby match from Arthur Ashe, which a lot of people probably bought tickets for. They're gonna give you something very worthwhile in return, and that is the best they absolutely could have done.
I mean, taking away a Bryan Darby to get Bryan, Nigel, and Moxley Darby.
Yeah.
I'll take that. Yeah, absolutely, I'll take that.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'm very happy with that. But we'll talk. We talked about it. And we're going to talk about it later. But then we had the AEW Women's Title Eliminator match between Mariah May and Queen Aminata. This stemmed from the incident all out. Yeah, this was a great match between these two. This was Mariah May's first match in AEW. Back when she got signed, she wrestled Aminata in her first match. So it's cool to see this match happening again. But yeah, very solid, hard hitting match. These are two women that know how to lay their shit in and know how to work. I think Aminata is poised for a big time future in this company. I think she's fantastic. Every time I've seen her, she's looked more and more impressive. I'm really a big fan of hers. She's very much alike to Mariah, and how she is very agile and she can move, but she's also very stiff and she's hard hitting, and like she could give you moves where it doesn't look like it's like, oh, okay, like that, but it's like they're actually fucking hitting each other. It's very impactful. But yeah, this was a very good match. Mariah put her down with the Storm Zero, and after the match, she gets on the mic and she's like, I still haven't had my celebration yet. I still haven't had my championship celebration. Something's missing. And she says, Mina Shirakawa, please come back. So Mina is...
I need you.
So Mina is going to be involved in this, which we all suspected at some point because Mina lives in the States now. But she did just go back to Japan just to work a Stardom tour. So Mina's coming back. They're going to absolutely do Mina and Mariah. Because I don't even know if that's happened in Stardom. Because it might have happened, but I really think that I'm pretty sure they were tagging the entire time that Mariah was there. But Mina,
I believe so as well, yeah.
Yeah, Mina and Mariah is definitely gonna happen at Wrestle Dream. I can see Tony coming back there and saving Mina because Mariah and Mina would make sense because Wrestle Dream obviously is like an Antonio Inoki tribute show as well. That's how it was kind of been. There's going to be New Japan and Stardom involvement. So I think Mina and Mariah is poised for that show. So very excited to see what goes on there. Because Mina, when she was around for the Build to Forbidden Door, the American fans really took to her. I mean, she's pretty good at English. She's one of the more uh she's one of the more like expressive and I guess like I wouldn't it's not the right word, but like photogenic or like she's more well versed to and like an American crowd. Like she knows how to work an American crowd. It's not like one of the some like a Joshi girl that's dropped in America and she doesn't know what's going on. Like she knows how to play the American crowd. She's very good. Um so very excited to see where that goes. But after this, what do we have? Young Bucks?
After this, we had, yes, the Young Bucks promo.
Yeah, so the Young Bucks, uh,
Basically, they're saying they were going to be out, by the ring for the Casino Tag Team Gauntlet match. That was the gist of it. If they said anything important, it wasn't important.
yeah.
After that, we had the Saraya Jamie Hayter All In recap vignette, which I believe was the last like actual vignette, recap vignette. We had another one later in the show, but then we had Chris Jericho and the Learning Tree versus the Iron Savages.
Yep. So yeah, this was just a quick squash. After the match, Jericho put on the jacket again and talked about Orange, and he pulled out a photo.
I thought Jericho wore the jacket the entire match.
Oh yeah, he did. He did. He looked
And,
like fucking Ika Manjiro.
Mm.
But yeah. So Jericho, he takes a picture frame out of the backpack that Orange kept in his backpack, and it's a picture of him and his friends. It was Statlander, Chuck, and Trent, who obviously Statlander and Trent have turned on him and become heels, and Chuck has unfortunately retired. So it's kind of he's basically all on his own, and he's just remembering the good times. But what's it called?
Wasn't the photo of his match with Moxley
It was after
too?
the Mox. Yeah, it was after the Mox match. But after this, Orange gets on the jumbo, gets on the Titantron, and says, "Hey Chris, I got your money." And he pulls out
Some string, some coins, a crumpled up bill.
Looney Tunes ass fucking pocket change. He got lint. It's got string.
I would like a full like a full count of those coins. Bring them to a fucking Coinstar. I need to know that is exactly $7,000 in pennies.
There was a lot
nickels.
of mixed change in there.
It seemed like a lot of pennies.
But yeah. So what's it called?
That is the definition of petty.
He's like, my friends got the rest of the money, and
he just goes.
Mark Briscoe and Kyle, they dump a bunch of spare change on Jericho's Bentley, and he was crying about this. And I saw this. I'm like, well, maybe about maybe some dings on the windshield.
Yeah,
but
maybe some dings and dents and some scratches.
Yeah, it's like this. I mean, it wouldn't even be a real dent or a scratch. You might just need to buff it out. I mean, this really wasn't anything that bad, yo. It's just all. I mean, it's gonna cause you like minor displeasure, and it's kind of annoying and tedious. But
there's probably little.
You kind of got away with. I mean, you kind of gave you a pass on this one because I thought this was kind of like. Oh,
I thought it was gonna be some cement at first.
Yeah, well, yeah, I don't know if that
more orange juice.
I think
that would have been funny.
To be honest, I think that actually would have been better. Because then it would actually made sense, like, oh, he's actually destroying the car. Like the spare change is like, oh, I just gotta this is just kind of annoying.
Hey,
yeah, the orange juice. I mean, you gotta get the
if you want to look at this,
stains.
Because it's also a new car too. Orange Cassidy was just wishing him good luck. You always put that spare change into a new car. to
Never
which
heard of
someone
that in my life.
Change.
Yeah, I every time a family member of mine had gotten a new car, or even like someone I knew had a new car, you always threw like pennies and quarters into the back
I
seat.
never heard that in
I
my
thought that
fucking
was
life.
I thought that was some Greek tradition.
Probably is. I'm not even
Yeah.
Greek, but like I knew that like my family did it, and some like friends have done it.
The only person who I knew who did that was Greek. So
I've never heard of that.
now I know too.
Yeah.
That's like fucking batteries in the goddamn refrigerator that I heard from somebody, and I'm like, the fuck is wrong with you? That does nothing. But
I remember learning about that. Yeah, that
yeah,
does
it's like the fuck
absolutely
you
nothing.
doing, bro? There's nothing.
Get rechargeable batteries.
But yeah, Orange is, and then he puts $1 on the seat. He's like, and then he takes some change back because he needed change. So yeah. But Jericho's freaking the fuck out. I thought this was kind of lame. It was whatever. I don't. It's you know, it's kind of hit or miss with these Learning Tree Jericho segments.
Mm.
Holy shit!
What happened?
So Tony just tweeted out a new match for next week's Dynamite. It's a trios match. The Young Bucks and Okada versus Osprey, Takeshita, and Fletcher.
Oh
That's a hell of a fucking matchup right there. Um,
goodness.
but yeah. Anyway, after this, we had a Hook vignette of him challenging Roderick Strong to a fight anywhere, anytime, anywhere, any place. Probably gonna be at Arthur Ashe because of the setting Hook was sitting in. Looked like New York, where he's from, so it's probably where it's gonna happen. Um, but yeah, after this, I believe was the Nigel segment.
Yes.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
He
yes.
So
comes out
Nigel,
and says, "I have talked to Tony Khan, and I've wanted this match, and I've got this match. And Arthur Ashe,
Pulls out the
I will
contract.
be played out by Oasis, and
He's
I
lying.
will." And Brian will, you'll come out to the final countdown, already confirming it pretty much.
yeah. But yeah, Nigel was talking about how, um, like Tony Khan knows big matches. He knows when he sees them. Brian's been ducking me. I've been watching Brian live out my dreams that should have been mine, which is actually somewhat true because literally Nigel's in that position. He's in that class of guys from that era that would have been that are still around today that are still very popular. I mean, Brian, Joe, Punk, the Briscoes, fucking, I mean, Christopher Daniels, uh, just Claudio, just all these guys from the early Ring of Honor days that were like a Homicide as well. Homicide still around. Even some of the later guys that came in a little bit after them, like Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Eddie Kingston, um, all these guys were like luminaries
Oh,
of
I think
Ring of Honor, and Nigel was right with them.
I had an old Pro Wrestling Illustrated that had Nigel in it, and like this was like slightly chubby, blonde tips, Nigel.
To
This
be honest, I
was
could actually see him. I could see him because that's. I mean, before he
that's
went to
the
TNA.
Nigel that like that some of us
Yeah,
knew.
before when he was in TNA, when he was Desmond Wolfe and he shaved his head, like I wouldn't be surprised if he actually did the blonde tips again for this match.
Oh my
Um,
god.
but but yeah, he announces that it's official that it's gonna be Bryan Danielson versus Nigel McGuinness at Wembley, and I feel so happy for him. He's finally getting this fucking match after being a hater on commentary for God knows how long.
You mean a
Uh,
Grand Slam?
a Grand Slam, that's right.
I was about to say,
I don't know what
gonna
I even said.
rescheduling all of a sudden.
And hey,
But
I'm jealous you guys get to see that match like in person.
I think I'm more hyped just to sing Final Countdown.
yeah, I'm very excited for this show. That's the thing about me. I'm just kind of weird. Like I don't really get excited for shows until like the day of. It's like oh, okay, I'm going to that. And then when it happens, like oh shit.
See, I'm kind of the opposite. I look forward to it, then the day comes, and I'm always like tired as shit, and I'm like, crap, I gotta go out tonight. But then once I get there, I'm okay.
Yeah, like mine's like I don't even think about it. I'm like, okay, yeah, we're going to that. That's happening. And then it's like, oh shit, like if I'm on the way there, I'll get excited. But yeah, it's like I'm kind of like, or like when stuff happens, like I get more excited for like games or uh like football coming up or like other shit. Where it's like, oh fuck yeah, dude, I'm getting ready to do something. But it's like, yeah, I'm getting ready to see the show. I'll watch it when it happens. But anyway, after this, we finally get to our main event of the Casino Gauntlet tag team match. The tag team Casino Gauntlet, and the Young Bucks come out. They plan up top and they sit.
They
And they
motion for
sit.
their chairs.
Yes, and the first team out is
Which those shares you could buy right now.
Shop AEW.
I don't know. No, it's the Ziploc branded or Zip, whatever the fuck chair brand it is. I think it said Ziploc.
Ziploc, like the fucking plastic bags.
No,
That's where my mind went.
probably like same name spelled differently.
Probably just to avoid a lawsuit.
Yeah, it's called Zip Chair.
Zip chair. Okay.
And you could buy AEW branded ones. You could buy an AEW branded seat recliner and AEW branded game rocker 100.
Interesting.
And 2 like desk chairs. One designed for gaming, one designed just for like a normal desk. Whatever the fuck that means.
I think I know what they mean.
You could also put sports logos on them. You don't just have to get the AEW branded one.
Ooh, I can get a Jets one or a Rangers one.
They cost $600, by the way.
Right. I am not getting anything.
Yeah, so the main event started with FTR and it started with FTR and fucking Osprey and Kyle Fletcher to start, which was a cool opening. And we're just gonna go run down who came into the match because
after that, Righteous came out.
Yeah, I like the Righteous was next, but I like I love the Casino Gauntlet concept. I love it. I think it's
they've struck gold with this.
Yeah. And I'm glad they did a tag team version. I'm glad they're trying because it's the first time they've done a tag team version, and they're gonna do probably the next one is probably a women's one. But I liked the match. I liked tonight's main event. I didn't love it as much as I did the other Casino Gauntlet matches. I think tag teams maybe it's a little bit too much. But that's the thing, you got to try it. You don't know until you try it. So I think it's a little bit too much, and there's too much going on, and the tag division isn't as strong as it used to be. Like if this was like the tag division of like 3 years ago, this would have been fucking crazy.
Oh yeah, friggin' Proud and Powerful, Best Friends,
Lucha Bros, Young Bucks, FTR,
Kenny and Hangman,
New Japan, Kenny and Hangman,
early Dark Order.
This would have been crazy, but like the division's on kind of a reset right now, but yeah, I thought it picked up. I think after the last commercial, it really started getting going, but then it ended. But yeah, so we had the Righteous, and then after that we had the Undisputed Kingdom. Then after that we had
the Acclaimed.
And then we had
MXM
Collection, which I want to stop here. Within AEW right now, because they are replenishing tag teams, because they do need some. There's been like 3 like teams, in my opinion, that have like the genesis of like this new tag team era in AEW, and it's MXM Collection, Grizzled Young Vets, and the Outrunners. Which I think there could be one more that I'm not thinking of, but like of just new guys because they're all fairly new. I think they're guys you can build around for this next era in this tag team division. I think the Von Erichs, if they boost them up, I think they would be well suited to do that too. But they're doing the trios thing right now. But after MXM collection, which I think they've
Tom
been great.
Fight.
They've been great. Like they've been getting really over organically, and they've been doing
Yeah.
really well. Then we had Top Flight, which obviously they're great. Then after
And
Top
then we
Flight,
had
we
my
had the
boys.
fucking youngest men alive, the Outrunners, Truth Magnum and Turbo Floyd. Let me tell you something. The pop
Bro, I
they
have
got.
loved
I
these
was
guys since day one.
no, as soon as I saw them for the first time as jobbers on Dark. I'm like, who the fuck are these two? I'm like, and then I'm like, I've never seen these guys in my life. I don't know a fucking thing about it, but I like them. And then they kept getting brought in, and then they played it on Collision once, but if you haven't seen
Their vignette.
their vignettes
It's
on
fucking crazy.
online, they have two so far. If you just go on either Turbo or Truth or Turbo's Twitter accounts, you can see them as well. These things are fucking phenomenal. They're phenomenal. The fact that they didn't play the new one on television tonight pissed me off. I'm like, play this shit. This shit's fucking incredible. Because I mean, as they say, what's old is new again. Look at the gold they struck with Timeless Tony Storm. Look at the gold they have
Yeah.
there was a report last week that came out that these two fucking guys are selling more merch than Swerve. They were the highest merch sellers with their new T-shirt. They got one T-shirt out. They're selling more than Swerve Strickland, who was the world champion at the time. Are you crazy? Like you gotta hit your wagon to these guys. These guys, they got such a massive pop because
That was
the
awesome.
AEW fans are seeing this shit. These guys are fucking awesome. These guys are awesome. The youngest men alive. They fucking their promo vignettes looks like some shit you'd see in the 80s. You got people in the comments section saying, I saw these guys in Puerto Rico on a loop in 87. They worked the Freebirds. And I'm like, and then fucking Truth and Turbo they'll respond like, yeah, we did a couple loops. It was a good run, good house. We went to the pay window.
Their shirt is like, it screams Vice City vibes too.
Of course, it's like
awesome.
it's all 80s. It's all fucking
Like
just
I,
complete.
th-
The old fucking pumping iron,
This
all the
would
big
be-
back in the day, Hogan, all that shit.
Like-
They're fucking fantastic.
This shirt's straight up like you would see on an NPC in like a GTA game. Like we'd be like, what the fuck is that shirt?
And even when they started jobbing, like on Dynamite and Collision, I'm like, if these guys just stay as jobbers, like, and just they had a certified tag team jobbers, like, I think these guys should just get over regardless, and which they already did because then they started winning matches. But these guys are just fucking awesome. They're just great. I can't say enough good things about them. They get it. These two guys, they just get it. Like you got fucking Turbo out there with a skullet, and like these guys are fucking doused in spray tan. I mean, just and it validates the reaction they got validates everything they're saying because it's not just me that's seeing this. I'm like, they gotta do something with these guys because after seeing that reaction, it's like they had like I don't know why I always said I'm not really confident in a lot of things besides my wrestling knowledge, but I don't know what it was because when I used to watch Dark every weekend, Dark Elevation back when it was a thing, like I would be an unbelievable talent scout for wrestling because almost everybody that I said, like I watched a lot of job matches on Dark and Dark Elevation, but there'd be those times where I'd see somebody and I'm like, something? I think they should like bring this guy back or like do some like maybe like just give this guy like a couple wins or just like because if you won on Dark, it's like okay, they see something in you. I think like they should bring this back. It happened so many times with guys. I don't know if it was just me. It wasn't even any. So it was just me watching the show. Like it happened with so many guys that I watched, guys and girls that I watched on Dark and Dark Elevation, and they ended up getting signed. I could list off a few of them. It happened with Max and Anthony. It happened with Powerhouse Hobbs. It happened with Willow. It happened with Red Velvet. It happened with Toa Leona. It happened with Marina Shafir. It happened with. It happened with fucking
Fuego?
Who was it again? Nah, well, Fuego, that was a different thing. That was a whole fucking campaign.
Hey, but he's still got signed and he still had a great
yeah, but
run.
I'm saying there was more to that than just saying, oh, it was just like kind of like a chance or not, like saying it was just me personally seeing something. Because obviously after the Fuego shit took off, he was obviously going to get signed. There were even if it was for like a goofy contract. But like those guys and even Hook when he first showed up on television when he wasn't even wrestling yet, I'm like, you know something? Like there's guys here that like, AR Fox was also one of them. Brian Keith was another one. It's like
Did Action Andretti ever have stuff on Dark, or was that
yes,
Jericho
that's how
match?
yes, Andretti was I was about to say Andretti was one of them. Lee Moriarty was one of them. It's like there's like stuff to be done with a lot of these guys that come through that you might not have seen if they never took a chance on them. But yeah, so but the Outrunners, I have the same feeling about these two as I did the Acclaimed in the beginning. I think this is their next hot tag team, like feel good babyface tag team, because these guys, if follow that reaction, it's working. What they're doing is working, so do it. What's old is new again. You work with Tony, can work with these guys, and then when somebody pops up doing a '90s gimmick, put the house on them too, because they'll fucking make a ton. But besides the Outrunners, they were getting big reactions, everything they did. But besides them, we also had Stokely Hathaway, for some reason, was watching this match in the crowd. They only showed him once, which was very
Oh,
strange. But
did we mention that Kip Sabian was in the crowd for the
Kip Sabian, oh yes, I
for
forgot
the
about
Christian
that. But
For the
segment?
patriarchy.
I actually liked the shot they did there because they moved past the crowd
I
and
was
then
like, wait a
they and
minute.
then they passed him and then they went back and then he left. I thought that was cool. But yeah.
Something to
Hey,
After
keep an eye on.
any time fucking Kip Sabian gets TV time or gets any sort of a push, I'm here for it. I think I've liked Kip Sabian's style since day one. I think the stuff he did with the box head gimmick was amazing. I'm kind of sad that they faltered with it
uh,
upon
I mean
its
that was a dead end gimmick once it was
it.
over with
But like
because he couldn't hide in the crowd anymore without word of mouth.
I think it was just that like they could have done a bit more with it.
They could have, but that's the thing. That's the thing as well too. Look at like when that was happening. Look at what else was going on at that time when
Yeah,
he was
that
doing
was
that.
like
They,
you
there was a
you got
lot of shit going. Punk and MJF was going on. Fucking then the whole blow up and then you had how many like Joe just came in.
it's still like
MJF just came back. It's like there
I
was so much
was
shit going on.
I but it was still a unique gimmick, and I would have loved to have seen it go a little bit further. But I
Yeah.
understand
Wrong
that's the
wrong
circumstances.
place, wrong time.
Yeah.
Probably really what it was. But after the Outrunners, we had the Grizzled Young Vets. They didn't even make it to the ring because they fought up the ramp with FTR, and that's how those two left the match because they're going to be wrestling on Collision. And I believe that was it for the entrance. But the match ended with everybody getting their spots in, and then um, I believe the finish. I believe the finish came from Darius Martin trying to roll up Kyle Fletcher, but then Kyle ended up kicking out. And as soon as he kicked out, Ospreay fucking blasted this guy in the back of the head with a hidden blade. And then they pinned him, and then the Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher won the match. Ospreay is undefeated in Casino Gala matches that he's been in, and now at Arthur Ashe, it's going to be the Young Bucks versus Kyle Fletcher and Will Ospreay. That is a hell of a matchup. So very excited to
Oh
see
yeah.
that. I thought Dynamite was okay tonight. I didn't think it was as good as a couple as the last
Mhm.
couple weeks, but I thought it was overall a good show, a good setup show for a lot of the stuff they want to do later, and you need those. So so that's really all I have to say about that.
Yeah, in terms of that, I thought it was a great show.
Oh, I agree. Like
Yeah.
I enjoyed the show a lot. Good.
Yeah, I enjoyed the show a lot more than I thought I would earlier today. So
Oh, how did you enjoy All Out? Because you really didn't
I
talk
thought it
about
was
it
good.
much in the chat.
No, because I literally finished watching it at like 6:50.
Ooh, all right,
Yeah,
cool.
that's why I wasn't saying much.
But all right, guys. Wrestler of the week. I'm gonna give it to the scapegoat, Jack Perry. Get his stuff on his website. Buy his scapegoat shirt on AEW shop. Get some of the House of Torture merch that he's also featured on. Yeah, I'm gonna give the Jack Barry.
I'm going John Moxley because I am very, very interested to see how this whole thing plays out.
I'm gonna give it to the Outrunners. If I didn't gush about them enough, I'm very happy with the reaction they received tonight because I was waiting for them to come out. I'm like, I didn't even know if they were gonna happen, if that was gonna happen. It's like, I really hope the Outrunners are in this match, and then they did, and I didn't expect the reaction they got. They got a huge reaction, so I'm very happy that the people are are agreeing with me. So, so very excited for that. But yeah, I'm gonna give it to Truth and Turbo.
All right. Hey guys, we will. Are you gonna be here next week, Mike?
Let me just check what time I'm working that day.
That way I can know
no.
when you're not gonna be here next week. Okay, well.
No.
Up until the Mets decide to leave
last
the
Mets
playoffs. Yeah,
last Mets homestand.
That's rough. All right, guys.
Need money.
We will see you. Me and Christian will see you next week. And yeah, all right, guys. Peace.